Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Against the Storm. If you're very observant, you might see that I'm currently playing on an experimental branch of the game, because the publisher actually got me some early access to look at the new update that's upcoming as of April 13th. And that is a fifth playable species. They have introduced furries into the game. I mean, foxes into the game. No, seriously, look at this character art and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a community poll for 3 different options. We had toads, bats, and foxes, and people voted pretty overwhelmingly for the foxes. I think it's kind of obvious why. Now, that said, there is kind of an interesting playstyle with this species. I could see them becoming meta if people can kind of figure out what to do with them. I'll go into more detail on that in just a second. Let's find a good starting location. I do kind of want to play in a coral forest, so it'll make it easier to unlock the full power of the fox. So let's start over here, for example. That's fine. There they are. All right. They are majestic and mysterious creatures, deeply bonded with the forest. They have symbiosis with rainwater. Very good at scouting, which is a new thing. And then they are comfortable working with rainwater, and I'm talking things like geysers. Honestly, though, I feel like these two powers, the scouting and the rainwater, is not really the true power of the fox. We'll explain a bit more about that in a minute. I think that these guys actually could go pretty well with the lizards on this particular map, mainly because I know there's going to be a lot of meat here. And the main reason I'm actually picking the coral forest is because I'm able to get crystallized dew passively. This is going to make your life a lot easier every time you are playing with a fox. Let's see, on this map, there are no mushrooms, there's no natural source of grain. We probably are going to need to be able to farm our own out, if I'm honest. So let's go ahead and start off with a small farm, even though I do think the plantation is technically just a little bit better. And then what else do I want here? Honestly, 1 point for 42 meat is pretty darn solid. We'll get some extra wood, and we'll take some extra people so we can unlock our power a little bit faster. Alrighty, let's go ahead and embark. Okay, what kind of mysteries do we have this time? Heavy drops, lots of drizzle water production. Okay, I don't usually care too much for this. Clearance is usually my go-to, but okay, sure, we'll work with that. Creeping shadows, do not discover glades during a storm if you don't want a penalty. Less sacrificing of the ancient hearth, not a big deal. Dark skies during a storm, resolve drops faster. Actually awful, but not much I can do about that. And then global food production goes slower if we get up to 3 levels of hostility, which is going to happen on Viceroy difficulty for absolute sure. Ugh, okay, fine. That said, extra hostility is going to translate into a chance of getting extra yields in production, so whatever. It's not going to be the worst thing. By the way, one small thing they changed, they actually did change up the orientation of things like the hearths and the starting warehouses. They're somewhat more randomized than they used to be, which I think is kind of fun. Anyways, we're going to go for our standard opening moves. We need to get ourselves a couple of woodcutters camps, and we need to start getting some camps and extracting whatever food and such we can find locally. Looks like some vegetables. Do we benefit at all from some of the early scouting from the foxes? The only thing I'm seeing that's extra right now is they're telling me there's a drizzle geyser right over here, which is not super important, so I'm going to ignore that for now, but that's one of the extra powers of the fox. And we'll get these guys up and a-running. So there's the little foxes, by the way, as they move around. They look kind of cool. To be honest, foxes are, like, quite literally and unironically my favorite land animal, but yeah, there they are. They're going to be doing their things. Let's get a few roads going, blah, 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 blah. Everything here is pretty much the same as you're used to. I'm going to breeze through some of the early game. Now, that said, there's a couple things I do want to show off and why the foxes can be kind of interesting and or tricky. So first off, we did start with some harpies. So all 3 of my species actually have very low resolve thresholds for them to actually start generating some reputation. If we can start getting their resolve up nice and high, we are going to finish this map really fast, which could be nice. However, foxes have a bunch of different requirements here, including some special housing just for them, which does require crystallized dew to make, which is one of the reasons playing in the coral forest with foxes is helpful, since we can get this passively. Otherwise, you need to find an early method of getting some crystallized dew, like in an alchemist's hut, or you're not going to be able to get their housing. And that means you leave a lot of resolve on the table, and it's harder to activate this, and you're more likely to have some foxes leave you in the early game. So it can be kind of tricky, but because they have that low resolve threshold, just like the other 2 here, seriously, they can be quite good. If you get their resolve nice and high, you start rolling in the reputation. And one other thing I want to show off, and I think this is one of the best things about the foxes, if you take a look over here, Forest Affinity, hostility from opening new glades is reduced by 6 each time you have a fox as a firekeeper. That can be very significant at reducing the amount of hostility you're going to be getting over the course of the game. I mean, usually you're going to open up, what, 8 to 10 glades? That's like 48 to 60 hostility removed over the course of the game. Is it as good as having the Harpy with the extra 10 carrying capacity? Probably not, but it is definitely useful in some circumstances. Let's take a look at our first cornerstone, the Tightened Belt. Travel cost reduced. I guess that's for, like, provisions. Don't know if I cared that much. Flame amulets could be kind of nice. I do like this, though. Start producing pie, get the extra jerky. I mean, honestly, food is one of the best ways to get yourself a lot of resolve for a lot of different species. If you can really dive in on this and either get a lot of luxuries or really solid food production, that can be very powerful. That's actually one of the reasons I started with the farm as one of my starting bonuses. I'm hoping we find some rich, fertile soil so I can start getting flour and stuff early on. That would be very, very significant if we can. One other change that we should talk about before we get too far into this, in a update before this, they actually changed the resolve juggling. So no longer are you able to just like keep swapping between these to get 2 or 3 species above their resolve during a storm. There's actually a cooldown on these now, so you have to be far more deliberate. But that's okay. It actually also shows you a projection if you do this, like what happens to the other species. Are you going to get over that resolve threshold? This number will turn blue if so. So it's a pretty helpful UI change, and honestly from a gameplay perspective, it makes a lot of sense. So for even right now, for example, we started with a bunch of pickled goods and stuff, and I didn't actually turn that off. I probably should have, but it got me a bunch of extra resolve. Right now, if I want to favor the foxes for a bit, we could actually just farm out a tiny bit of extra reputation right now, which is pretty darn good. We can do that until the next storm hits. So sure, I'll go ahead and start farming out a little extra. That's great, 0.06 per minute. Okay, I'm trying to get myself a bit of housing up and a-running. We'll need to get ourselves some decorations, ideally before the next storm hits. I guess a simple park will have to be okay. We can do that. Place you right over here, for example. It's always worth trying to get this up as fast as you can. And with one more house, that should be doable. We started with plenty of population. Before the storm hits, I'll turn off the favoring. But this should be good to start. Then I'll go ahead and start gathering up some stone. And the idea is, at the beginning of the next cycle, I do want to be able to crack into at least one of these glades. And hopefully we're able to deal with this. I still haven't picked up my orders, by the way. Because once you get to the point where you're able to unlock the timed orders, you need to take your time and be more deliberate about these. Don't bother until the second day. You're not going to crack into glades and stuff anyway. Because you want to set yourself into be in a good position to actually deal with a timed event. The rewards can be so powerful, you really don't want to waste your opportunity, you know what I mean? Okay, we can actually stop favoring the foxes, and what it's telling me right now is that both the lizards and the foxes will become high resolve if we do this. And that's just before the storm anyway. I mean, it's not that it's going to last, but like, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and do that and farm out even more. 0.12 per minute. Heck yes, what a strong start. And of course, now it's all about to go away, but, you know, we're in a really good spot. As far as a first day goes, this was phenomenally successful. Excellent, I still haven't lost my edge. Okay, we can go ahead and get ready to start cracking into a glade. Let's start with just one for the sake of it. Hopefully we don't overdo this right now. I don't want to time this badly where we open a glade during a storm. Should be fine. Okay, excellent. So that's all looking great. Let's take a look at our next cornerstone. Lose all wood, but become really good at getting wood production. Honestly, the earlier you pick this up, not really the worst thing in the world. Royal Guard training. Instead of supplying brawling, train under the crown. So brawling gets extra resolve, but attacking a traitor is bad. Well, that's never really a big deal. Both the lizards and the foxes like brawling, so this could actually be really, really good now that I think about it. Huh. Yeah, this just means that this has to be a goal for mine, but if I can beat brawling, that's super duper strong. Okay. I think we go ahead and pick this up just for fun. And let's go ahead and open up our orders and see what we can get. Alright, so nothing timed there. Get a couple of geysers, get some pumps and stuff. It's okay. Keep lizards resolve high. Honestly, we're going to do this anyway, and a couple extra people's not that bad. Let's see. Rebuild something, get some glades. Okay, there's something right there. Make the harpies at 16. We're not going to be able to do that in the next 7.5 minutes. I would love to, but there's just no way we're going to be able to, so forget that. Get some camps, not small camps, regular camps, and we don't have these, so I think this is my only real option. And then, another timed one, okay. Open up 3 glades, rebuild something, get reeds forever, and get tool shops. Okay, maybe we can do this. 3, doesn't say what size, we just have to cut into 3 of them, and we have to rebuild something. If there's something to rebuild in this big glade, this might be doable. I'm gonna try for it. And let's go ahead and crack into this sucker as soon as we can and see what happens. But I've already got 3 glades that are ready to open up at a moment's notice. So let's see if this works. Okay, what do we find? Living matter and nothing to rebuild. That is unfortunate. We can deal with this, though. And we're going to have to, or it's going to just start eating up all my food and stuff. I mean, it's going to do that anyway, but we might as well. So let's give this one a go and quickly get rid of this. But that's definitely something we can deal with. Let's open up another glade over here and just try to find something to rebuild. If we find something to rebuild, this is fine. If we don't, then this was a waste of an order, but honestly, it was worth the attempt, and I'm not going to feel bad about my decision regardless. Okay, there is something to rebuild. Here it is, a beanery. Now, this is new, and it is something for the forced specialization from scouting. What does it get us? Porridge, a new food that takes, I think, any kind of food like grain, plus some drizzle water, and you make food out of it. That's not bad. Also, pickled goods and a method of getting crystallized dew. Actually, really quite good for me anyway. So, yeah, we need to get some more bricks, but let's go ahead and rebuild this as quick as we can. And now I just need to crack into, like, literally anything. This glade over here should be fine, so let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, that's our third glade done, so now we just need to get a couple of bricks and rebuild this in the next 6 minutes. Oh, this is totally doable. We're going to be totally fine. Let's go ahead and do this. This gets me a couple of extra people plus some food. Actually, let's hold off on the food until the living matter is done. Just make sure it doesn't get drained away. What's the point? And I'm doing all this without even having chosen any new blueprints. So let's go ahead and see what we've got access to here. The herbalist camp, trapper's camp, a weaver for better fabric, plus the ability of making training gear. Not very well, mind you, but it is a method of doing so. Could also grow my own mushrooms and herbs if I can find some fertile soil and a greenhouse, which can be kind of okay. Honestly, none of these are really calling my name. We've got plenty. We did find some fertile soil. Okay, so that's good at least. We didn't deal with this rain spirit totem. We should probably do that. We don't have an easy way of dealing with it. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to born it. I would have preferred to get this, because it decreases the hostility by a lot. But yeah, we've got none of the stuff we need for it. Okay. Anything else to get? Lots and lots and lots of vegetables. For God's sake, there's a ton of vegetables. Right, so the herbalist camp, and yeah, neither of these actually do what I need. Well, frickin' heck. All right, fine. I guess between all of these, I'm going to take the weaver. I don't think that berries and mushrooms are even on this map, so that's fine. Supplier for flour. There we go. Okay, so we did say we wanted to start working toward that because it's going to get me a lot of value with, like, pies and stuff. I like the workshop. I really do. But if I don't find a way of getting flour, I just know that the game is going to mess me up and I'm never going to be able to find it. I just promise that's going to happen. So we'll do that, and then actually a way of getting biscuits and skewers, but not quite what I was hoping for with pies. Okay. We could actually pick up the plantation here, and this would be a method of getting things like berries. But I think I'd rather re-roll. Maybe we should have gotten that trapper's camp. I don't know. Stamping mill, advanced ring collector, tinkerer. I mean, you know, a way of getting better training gear than what I've got right now. We've already got 1 star, and we haven't got a way of getting tools. And with crystallized dew being produced naturally, I guess this has some use. So between all of these, I mean, I like the distillery, but I think we pick up the tinkerer. I do love the aesthetics of the fox houses and stuff. It actually looks kind of, I don't know, elvish in a way. It's kind of cool. There we go. We have rebuilt this thing just in time. That means I'm now going to be getting some reeds delivered, and I get a free tool shop and a bunch of free tools. Excellent. What a great pickup for me. And we get better at producing some of our stone and even more tools from this one as well. Also great. I think I'm going to pick up the furnace so I have a method of making pies so that this stacks up. Actually, wait, did I pick up the thing where I get pies and skewers as both? Did I not do that? I may not have done that. Well, we're going to go for the pies anyway. I think that the pies are still good. Oh, a bakery. Well, that would have been even better for the biscuits. Okay, no, it's fine. No, I did get the cookbook. Jerky for every 10 pies. So pies absolutely was still the right thing to go for. Biscuits are helpful for only 1 species. Pies are good for a couple of others, plus we get the skewers. I think this is still the better way to go. Pickled goods might be a good idea for me at some point, and then brawling. Pickled goods, brawling. Do that and we're good. Porridge, by the way, is a food that the foxes like in particular. So if you're looking for an early game food source, this one can actually be pretty helpful for you too. And now that I think about it, we have a method of getting the pickled goods. So, yeah, okay, we're good on all of this stuff. Freaking heck, this is great. And here comes storm number 2. Looks like resolve's a little bit bad. If it's getting too low, I'm going to go ahead and reduce hostility by stopping the wood cutting, but I think we're okay for at least a little bit. I don't really know what I would want here. I guess we could go for the clothes. I mean, getting a lot of coats and stuff is not the worst thing. It would only make the harpies happy. So I don't see this as, like, extremely high value. Oil could be kind of good. We'd be able to use that for fuel if we need to, and we have a method of making things like coats if we need to. Maybe the druid hut would be even better. Yeah, I think I'd rather just go ahead and take the druid's hut. Let's take that. And then for the next one, there's the plantation again. There's a trapper's camp. We can get a lot of extra food this way. If I can find a way of making jerky, that would be fantastic for me. But this is going to solve all my food needs. We now have plenty of methods of taking care of my people. First trader coming through. We've got 28 tools. Honestly, that's really not half bad at all at this stage of the game. What can we buy from you that would be useful? Maybe pottery for pickled goods and stuff, but that's kind of it. And for that, I mean, I guess we could just trade off, like, a bunch of extra lumber. I guess I don't mind that. It's just one less thing that I have to craft for a little bit, and it lets me get myself a fair bit of extra food. And that'll make people happy, so probably worth this a little bit. What's even better, of course, is getting a bunch of amber, so I can get things like the carpenter or the metallurgic proficiency and get even more crystallized dew and stuff, but meh, not gonna be able to do that right now. Oh, and of course, another cornerstone. More provisions for every new villager. This would mean that I pretty much never need to make provisions, which is nice. Scouts work faster on glade events. I'm pretty sure that's one of the powers of the foxes, so, I mean, that could be okay, I guess. Trade routes are faster, and then 30 meat every time a villager dies. I guess I'll just go ahead and never have to worry about the provisions again. Thank you. I do think it would be very sensible to set down another one of these hearths if we can. Right over here, I guess, will have to be good enough. We can use that plus the harpies to go ahead and increase the carrying capacity, or I guess we could double up on the foxes to reduce the hostility every time we open up a glade even further. And maybe when I'm about to crack open some glades, that would be the smart thing to do. Frankly, it probably means there's more micromanagement around these ancient hearths than there was before. And you should be making sure that every time you open up a glade, you go ahead and swap to all the foxes. Then once you open it, you can go ahead and swap them back to something more permanent. That would make sense. Let's choose an order, by the way. Open up more glades. Well, what do you know? Yeah, that's something I think I can do. All right, we'll go ahead and pick that one up. And then, risky expedition, make 3 more dangerous glades. Ugh. Okay. I do have methods of getting coal and oil and lumber. I don't need resin, though. And then fuel burns longer. Honestly, this still is the best one to go for. I don't love it, though. Looking for another order that would be, like, really important and transformative in some way. Traders arrive faster, better at purging fire. We can store up storm water eventually, probably. But we have to use it. We don't have to just gather it. That's the thing. This is a good long-term one, I guess. Anything timed that's going to make a big difference? No. All right. And then provisions plus rebuild more stuff. Yeah, I think between these, this is the best one to go for. All right, those are my orders then. A kiln? That could be pretty good, actually. Great way of getting a stupid amount of fuel. Plus, a way of getting jerky. Not a very efficient method, at least, but, I mean, something, and a hot building that the lizards will prefer to work in, which could get me a little bit more resolve that way, too. I guess between these, the kiln is the only one that makes some sense, so we'll pick you up. Let's make sure we also pick up a furnace, because we can actually start making pies now that I'm harvesting some grain from our farms. That should be getting processed at the supplier. We've currently got none, but we're working on it. So, yeah, this is a good method of getting ourselves some pie. And then, if we can get this up and running, I'll probably go here and say, stop eating meat. Although, that's the only real source of food I've got right now, so maybe we can't do that right now. But eventually, I want to turn this off so all of it goes to jerky production instead. That would be the smarter way to go. Okay, another cornerstone. Global production is faster, but no trade. Which, honestly, doesn't matter that much to me, so I guess you could say that this one's going to be worth it. Firekeeper's Prayer for the Ancient Hearth, no. Family Gratitude, every time I get reputation points to resolve, actually is okay in some ways, because we're going to be doing this. And then extra charges. You know, I'm going to go ahead and take the deserted caravans, and I know we were going to be making a bunch of free provisions, but I'll just sell them whenever the trader actually comes. Which actually, now that I think about it, is the trader... Nope, never mind, I just forgot. Yeah, okay, hang on. Trade routes are not only the thing closed, also no traders ever again. Well, 50% extra production, hopefully we can take care of ourselves. And the answer is, we really should be able to. This is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and demolish this. I don't really regret the decision. It just limits parts of the game. We are getting 0.14 resolve per minute right now, just from keeping the foxes happy. This is what I'm talking about. Like, these low resolve species can be annoying at times, but if you can meet the needs, you start cranking out that resolve early. This ain't so bad still. Another order comes in. What's this? Events with empathy decisions? Yeah, so events actually do have new things that can happen here. Neither of these are actually going to be great for me. I guess we could pick this one up, but we don't have to make a decision right now. So I didn't think I showed this earlier, but if you do have... Actually, we did show that with one of the totems over here. You had 2 options instead of just 1. That's a new addition to the game as well, is that you actually can have multiple decisions with dealing with some of these of Glade events, which gives you a lot more flexibility. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but it kind of depends on what you've got available and what you need. This is going to be really insane, but I actually took the smokehouse because while the kiln is going to be great for some coal, the smokehouse is now a super jerky producing building, which basically means that my meat is going to go a lot further. So between getting pies with free skewers, pies with free skewers. Yeah, that's correct. Plus pickled goods, plus jerky. We don't need biscuits. That should be enough food to make people really happy. So the only thing that's going to hold me back from winning this scenario now is finding a good way of getting brawling services met. If we can do that, I think we are going to win this one pretty quickly and effectively. And we are currently handling this storm with absolutely no issue at all. I mean, year 4, we were able to keep the hostility level down to level 2. So this is fantastic. In fact, we're still keeping the lizards at high resolve even during a storm. That's solid. That's really solid. Food is strong, man. Seriously, don't underestimate it. The thing that's actually going to get me killed here is pottery, now that I think about it. Wait a minute. We turned off trade, which means I can't buy clay or pottery, which means pickled goods may not actually last for very long. Ooh, I did not think that through. Okay, any other vessels? I mean, if we can get barrels or water skins, something different from any kind of a building, I still want to be able to produce this. But for right now, that's looking like a big no. And any kind of water actually can be used to make porridge. You know, if I want to start getting like some storm water or something, we need that for a mission anyway. That's a method of getting some extra food to make the foxes happy. And actually, all 3 species are now getting maximum resolve. Oh, man. Oh, man, this is going to be good. All right, how much are we going to be getting now? 0.4 per minute? Heck yes. I mean, their expectations are going to go up, so this won't last forever, but it's pretty darn nice. And we discovered something new over here. So there's the Harmony Altar. So this is one of those empathy things we were talking about. So if we did this, that could be kind of nice. But I didn't take that mission, so it doesn't really matter. Calm Spirits. Every unique service building gets you extra resolve. Could become useful. Alternatively, burn this thing down, get a bunch of stuff. I'd rather not. We could use some of the incense I've got. This does give me amber, which I don't need for no trade, but we'll give this one a go. For the heck of it, let's give this one a go. Actually, I just realized we can't do this because I don't have amber. Oh, right, forget that. All right, burn it down, just burn it to the ground. I don't even care anymore, just burn it down. Another reputation point, what do we get? Nothing useful except for the Explorer's Lodge. Okay, brawling, found some way of getting brawling. So now I just need to start producing some of the brawling goods. I can't remember, we had something capable of making those, right? Didn't we? I thought we did. Yep, Tinkerer, that'll work. Training gear. Alrighty, we found our seam. If we can get this up and running, we've got this now. And actually, why was I thinking that I got skewers for free from the pies? It's just more jerky. I'm actually really good at making jerky. Like, I'm way too good at making jerky. Alright, this was what we call an overcommitment. I did not need to do this. It's fine. It's fine. Who's worried? Let's just make the training gear and then we'll just go win. Yeah? Yeah? I think that sounds good. Good news is we got a frick ton of reeds and we can get ourselves some stone or some crystallized dew if needed in order to make as much of this as we want. Let's say 50 there. And it doesn't really matter who I toss into this, so we'll just go ahead and toss a couple of lizards or something like that, and we'll have the Explorer's Lodge. We want to have 3 people here, and for every rebuilt or salvaged ruin, we would be able to get some extra global resolve, which just helps me win even faster. For now, we only need 1 person over here just to meet the needs. Oh, we did have an empathy reward thing, didn't we? Oh, well, don't need that now. New order, more glades, use all kinds of water, or here's a timed one, pack of provisions, and yeah, we can do that. We can do that for sure, right? All I need is a lot of lumber. I don't have any lumber? Really? I've used all of it up on kilns? Right. Let's make less of this then and get as much lumber together as possible. I thought this was going to be easy. New cornerstone. No. None of these are helpful if I'm honest. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick re-roll. Yes, barrels for planks solves my pickled goods needs. All I gotta do is to start producing lots of planks, which we're not very efficient at still, because I've been using all of my wood doing this, but it's fine. It's fine. There we go. All 3 races are happy once again. We're making 0.78 resolve per minute right now. Ho. Yeah, baby. That's good. Manufacturing, an even more efficient method of getting the training gear up and running so we can keep that going forever. Yeah, that's the thing. Or alternatively, the apothecary, so we can get tea, which is a new thing that I'm pretty sure that the foxes like. Ooh, and a clay pit, so I'll be able to start making my own clay. Well, that is one method around our problem. Yeah, okay, we can do this. All right, we're not going to be able to get the Ravenous Axes, it turns out. It was worth a shot, but no, that did not happen. What a pity. Oh well. And if we can just get a little bit more loyalty, the thing is, we're very, very close to being done here. Very close. I need one more solid reputation. In fact, wait a minute, why are we overthinking this? Let's just go ahead and crack open some stuff and send it to the Citadel. This is going to be enough, and that means I've officially won the game. It's now just a matter of the game figuring that out. Ha-ha! Suckers! This was actually pretty easy on Viceroy difficulty. Thank you, foxes! You know, I misjudged you guys. You're fantastic. And honestly, with all 3 people being happy again, we are now making so much resolve per month, 0.9 per minute. Yeah, we're going to win this a lot faster than even that, I was thinking. Okay, cool. Let's just wait till this gets up a little bit more so we don't have their expectations go up, because that does go higher the higher the resolve is. And that's all we need. Whoops, those are the wrong things. Orders. Badoinkus, we win. Hey, what do you know? All right, that was easy. And I don't know about these deeds, by the way. Apparently playing on the experimental branch unlocked all tiers of the Smoldering City and got all of my deeds erased. I'm not too sure how that happened, but I'm sure... Whoops, I don't want to do this. I'm sure at some point when I jump back in my regular game, we'll have to play with that more anyway. But bada boom. So that's a look at what the foxes are capable of. We didn't even really use rainwater a single time in this particular map, which is kind of weird. But I didn't really feel like I needed it at any point. We were doing really well. Focus on food, focus on getting at least the primary need with, in this case, brawling taken care of, and we were set. And because foxes do have that pretty low resolve threshold, I really do think there's a good chance they become pretty meta, just like the harpies are, as far as trying to farm out that resolve for you. The fact that I also had lizards, you know, usually as a hindrance, but in this case, it actually worked pretty well in my favor. So, very solid score. Quite happy with how that turned out. Let's go ahead and open the chest for funsies. We get some artifacts. Yeah, that doesn't matter too much. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed this run of Against the Storm. If you did, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to check it out for yourself when it does come out this upcoming Thursday, which I guess is today at the time you're watching this. So, play the game. See you guys next time.